Good evening everyone and welcome to TTML. We are here for Division 5 action. It is round 6 of the championship as we take in the British Grand Prix from the Silverstone circuit. My name, as James said, it's a good job I can actually say this for the last 2 weeks. I've been struggling to start the stream up, but I cannot wait. Bringing the action, of course, out on track. And joining me in the commentary box, it's the man you normally hear at the start of these streams in Division 5. Now no longer. He's been put to the side here tonight. It is Mr. Daniel Huggard. Dan, how you doing?
Been demoted, what can we say? Thank you, James. Good evening to everyone watching. And yes, we should have another great race in store for you here tonight. Hopefully with no issues this time. We're here today at Silverstone, Britain, of course, one of the most iconic, historic tracks the Formula 1 calendar has to offer, and I'm very much excited, looking forward and anticipating the race you're going to get treated to tonight. And with a championship battle that's bunched up hugely last time out, well, I can't wait to see how this is going to, the next twists and turns that are going to take there. As we near the halfway point in the season, every race is so important, and the championship hangs in the balance already. And let's see how that's going to unfold. What are the next steps going to be taken here tonight as we get into the 6th round of the championship here at Britain?
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, I think, to see what is going to happen, of course. The first Grand Prix ever held in Formula 1 was held here in 1950, 70 years ago. The 70th anniversary, of course, of F1 this season. And last time out in France, reviewing what happened last week, Jibby Storm took the win, his first win of the season. Fantastic stuff from him. Invictus in second and Jack Roos in third. Jibby Storm, in his interview, he was so pleased with himself. Can he replicate it here tonight?
Well, we'll see. Of course, his victory last time out was based off of an incredibly smart strategy that he run that put himself into that race lead, and of course won it pretty convincingly in the end. We will see if that is going to repeat it. What it's also done for Jibby Storm, it has actually brought him relatively close to the championship lead. He's only 13 points off of Mays at this stage. And I will also point out, Mays is still leading the championship. He has not won a race this season. That's a rather remarkable statistic to take forward. That just shows how important consistency is going to be this season. It's not going to be just about racking up the race wins. It's going to be about, just performing at a high level all across the season and racking up those points on a consistent basis. And I think that driver is able to do that the best will come out on top as the season moves on.
Yeah, consistency has been key, I think, so far this season. Mays out on top on 95 points, Jack Roos second on 90. The top 4, to give you an indicator, are separated by 13 points coming into tonight. Invictus is in third on 84, and Jibby Storm, who won last time out in France, is on 82 in 4th. Then a bit of a breakdown to 5th, with Schmidtsky about 19 points behind in 5th on 63 points. Satmi King in 6th on 54, Nellis in 7th on 52, Rock City in 8th on 46, Parcells in 9th on 44, and Steen Rambo in 10th on 40. Looking down the rest of the field as well, Freak Ronk is on 35, Salas on 29, Bart on 24, Serve the Blessed on 23 and 14th, Torenheim in 15th on 22, Jeffrey in 16th on 16. Clausen, who's been moved up to Division 4, he's 17th on 15 points. His third place finish of, I think he finished 4th or 5th last week. Hulkenberg in 18th on 13, and Macker and Nolson in on 19th position on 12 points out on track. And Clausen getting moved up towards Division 4. I'm quite surprised at that, to be honest. I didn't think he'd be moved up so quickly, but he drove a really good race. I think he finished 4th or 5th last week.
Yeah, and I think he had definitely the pace to finish higher and maybe even challenge for the win. So I can see why he's been moved up. But yeah, I think that he could. I think he would have still been very competitive in this division. We'll of course see how he gets on Division 4 as well. That is going to be getting underway the same time as us, of course. So we'll keep an eye on that one and see how he gets on. But of course, the main focus is going to be what we have in front of us here tonight. I'm just going to check quickly. I think all the runaway top 4 in the standings at the moment, they are all present tonight, so that should be a great spectacle to look forward to. Britain, I don't know about your experience, James, but every time I commentate on a race at Britain, it is always a fantastic race. It's a track that just promotes that. I'd say it is side-by-side racing. As you go through particularly Brooklands, Luffield, you can go side by side throughout the entire third sector, second sector. There's just such great opportunities for overtaking in side by side racing here, and I can't wait to see how the drivers were able to put that forward tonight.
Well, we saw in Division 2 last night, it was a fantastic race, don't get me wrong, but there was a lot of DRS trains, so the guys in behind essentially were struggling to overtake, and that's what this track could be known for possibly here tonight, a lack of overtaking. So I'm just warning you guys now, in case you are wanting to predict the race of the season, I'm just putting it this way. If everybody gets stuck in a DRS train, there's hardly going to be any overtakes out on track. But you never know. This is Division 5. Anything can happen. Not sure who ODD_Ranheim is. We've been frantically trying to look down and see who that might be. It's one of the Norwegian drivers we can put in. My indication was that there was NSR Storm. But it's not. And I don't know who he is. Answers on a postcard, please. In the comments section, if you know who he is, please let me know in the comments section. To run you through the constructor standings as well, Mercedes on in first position on 141 points, Racing Point in second on 111, Williams third on 98, McLaren fourth on 96, Renault in fifth on 82, Ferrari in sixth on 71, AlphaTauri in seventh on 64, Haas in eighth on 36, Alfa Romeo in ninth on 22, and Red Bull in 10th on 16 points. And Mercedes have now got that 30-point cushion over Racing Point coming into tonight. Quickly before we jump into the lobby, Mercedes have got that advantage, but can you see Racing Point come back tonight?
First and foremost, I want to say that Maze has confirmed in the chat that Ranheim is staying Rambo. So yeah, we can look forward to that, seeing how he gets on here tonight. Of course, we know him as staying Rambo, so let's see how that's going to get on. Currently 10th in the standings. But back to your point about the constructors, you got to remember 30 points in the constructor standings really isn't a massive lead. It can certainly shift very, very quickly. And I think it's going to be really intriguing to see what happens here. Mercedes, of course, have been very, very strong all the way through. I think they have consistently been the best team. But when you saw, you see your likes of Jimmy Storm, winning last time out in France, it begs the question that maybe they can start to chase down that gap, see if any of the other teams can get in as well. But I think Mercedes, we'll see what they could do, but he certainly wouldn't really rule out Racing Point on current form, maybe trying to turn that around and start to flip the tables, get up to the back of Mercedes. We'll see how that one unfolds, but that's going to be a battle we're going to have to keep a very close eye on throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, Jimmy Storm, of course, taking the win last time out in France, hoping to replicate Racing Point's form. Now, when I've commentated around here at Silverstone, it's a dead-on 3 out of 3, because it's dry once again in qualifying. It was dry, of course, for Division 1 and Division 2, but now for Division 5, I should say. Goodness me, we're not Division 4 just yet. Division 5, once again, dry compound of tyres, and around here with qualifying, there are several points out on track, especially coming through Abbey and Farm, where you could pick up a few invalidations, I think, in qualifying.
Yeah, Abbey, you wouldn't think it is a corner, but you can pick up invalidations. But I have seen several drivers doing that, maybe just trying to maximise the apex speed, the line to the corner, and it has worked against them. We'll see, of course. I wouldn't say it's one of the more difficult tracks to keep it on the track, but I'd also point out that Maggots Beckett's complex is also a flashpoint for maybe running off the track Stowe as well. So there's definitely a few flashpoints where drivers can get it a bit wrong and spoil their laps. We'll see how they're able to get on here tonight at Silverstone. It's a track that the drivers love, the fans love. Let's get it underway. 17 minutes of qualifying is going to be in front of us. Tornheim, first driver out on track. So let's see how they all get on then. Let's get this qualifying session started.
Yeah, Tornheim currently on his outlap, coming through Luffield and then through Woodcut, which was the old final corner, of course, before this track was redone. The first inaugural running within this track layout was 2011, I believe. In 2011, yep. A quiz question, who won in 2011 around here in Britain? Was it Mark Webber, by any chance?
I can't say I was actually watching Formula 1 back then, so it's it's a difficult one. I know that Mark Webber won the 2 bracketing years in 2010. Did he win in 2010? No, I'm doubting myself. I think he won in 2010 and 2012. I'm not sure about 2011.
2011, I don't know who won in 2011. That is a quiz question for anybody that is tuning in here tonight. Please answer me. Don't Google it. Don't look at your phone and Google it, because that's just... well, that's just a 21st century way of doing things, to be honest. Tornheim coming through the final couple of corners, through turn 18 at Club Corner, and then underneath the bridge, which isn't there actually in real life, and now through towards Abbey and Farm, through turn 1, and then through turn 2, a little bit unstable coming through turn 1 there, but Towenheim now set about onto a lap, as Towenheim now comes through turn 3, through the village section, and then through the loop, and then in towards Aintree. Aintree, of course, formerly holding a Formula 1 Grand Prix when Donington, I think, or Brands Hatch was getting redone out, and of course Aintree now playing host to the Grand National in real life. 27.0 from Towenheim through the first sector, and then through Brooklands, and then through Luffield. You want to try and take the wide out exit and then deep into the curb to try and get the best run out, and Towenheim did not do anything what I said there. So now comes through Woodcote. He has got a car to the right hand side, which is Passov getting clean out of his way. Now through the all turn 1, halfway through the lap from Cops, and Towenheim slides, coming wide, coming through the final couple of corners, and now Towenheim through Mackett's and Beckett's, and he doesn't look that quick, if I've got to be honest, through the section. Now through Chapel and onto the Hanger Straight. It's a 102.3. It looks really unstable in terms of the setup as he now runs down towards Stowe. This is going to be a corner that could catch people out. Was the scene of Cam and Gary crashing last night, in fact, in Division 2. And Towenheim now comes through the final couple of corners out on track. Now through Vale and then in towards Club Corner at turn 18. Towenheim not looking too bad on the timings. He comes across the line, 25.9. Nice lap there from Towenheim. And across the line will come an AlphaTauri, which is Ranheim in behind him. Towenheim and Ranheim is going to go quicker. Of course, Stian Rambo, his former name, 24.9 out on track. So the AlphaTauri is the only two to set a lap so far.
Yes, Maze just upsets your statement by going into second place there. Yeah, Towenheim did look very tentative on that lap, not able to really push it. Schmetzke has gone across the line. That lap is not representative. Schmetzke is a much faster driver than that would suggest. Who else do we have coming round? It's championship contender Invictus, but he has invalidated that lap. Is going to try and reset and go again. And Hulkenberg in behind has not had a great season so far in a Haas. Has got to try and turn things around, but the lap doesn't look particularly fast over the line. It's going to be a 1:26.8 just for the time being. Slots into 5th place right now. So we'll see if Hulkenberg is able to try and improve, respond and move forward in this qualifying session. Jimmy Storm's out there on the mediums. I'd say that Silverstone is a rather low deck track, so I'm surprised to really see anyone actually out there on meds at the moment. Jimmy Storm, I suspect, is trying to get a banker in. Doesn't look like it's going to be especially fast. Right in the final corner, Jimmy Storm goes, and it does go into 5th place just by Nilsson, who goes into 4th there with a pretty solid lap on the mediums. Maka just replaces up to 4th. Silas has been disqualified. Where on earth has that happened?
Where is he? Where is he, first of all? He's on the racing point. I can only see one out there, and that looked to me as if it was through the final couple of corners. I don't know. As Invictus has retired through the session, and Invictus, in fact, I think has crashed. Just coming through, Nilsson is there off the right-hand side, and Invictus has crashed. Very similar to a crash last night in Division 2. So Invictus, who I would have said for pole position, has now, he's out of the session. It's as simple as that. And Silas getting disqualified. Not sure why Silas was disqualified. It was apparently because he was going the wrong way, out on track.
My, that's very unusual. I'm not exactly sure what the circumstances of that will be. But Silas will be forced to start from the back of the grid, as well Invictus. That is pretty big news in terms of the championship, and of course Silas for the constructors as well. That's pretty bad news as well. So I'm just going back. Invictus, he must have caught the curb at the second Myats, I'm suspecting. That's a pretty deadly curve there on the inside. That must have just spat him into the wall. We have another car off. That's Maka. I think he's just letting someone through. We'll keep an eye out, because that section isn't as high grip and isn't as stable as you might think. So the drivers going to have to be looking out for each other there, because it can be very, very difficult to stay on then, and mistakes can come very, very easily down at that S section.
Yeah, the man that Maka got out the way was Rock City, and Rock City now coming through Vale and into Club. This is a really good lap from Rock City. He's going to go, I think, 4th possibly with this lap. In fact, he goes 3rd, 25.4. Nice lap there. Mays goes 2nd currently. Ranheim currently out on top. Jack Roos is just coming across the line to start off on his lap. He's in the Renault, of course, now coming through Abbey and Farm. Not sure if anybody is out there. I think Freak Ronk is just coming through the end of the first sector. 27.1 through the first sector. Looking at the timings though, I mean, last night in Division 2, there was 0.6 of a second separating the whole field in qualifying. Currently in qualifying tonight, with 10 drivers already set their laps, the gap is 2 seconds. So Division 5 clearly thinking it's going to be quite a sparse qualifying in terms of the timings.
Well, of course, we still have almost 11 minutes left. We are still in the early stages of this session as FreakFrog nearly validates, nearly loses the rear end of the car. Going through Maggots and Beckett's, another driver maybe getting a little bit crossed up at 102.6 going through the second sector. May well be around the sort of Schmitzky area, around about his teammate. We'll see where FreakFrog's able to go here as he heads it through. Still, I love that corner. Absolutely fantastic high speed. Then you're onto the brakes, going into the Vale Club chicane, and that's going to be second gear. Grab that on the entry, little bit wide, going through Club now to the line, and it is going to be a little bit further down, actually down in 7th place, just shy of Macca's time. So FreakFrog slots in there, 7th place there. Passels goes behind in 8th on a 126.4. These times are starting to come in, but yeah, at the moment it seems pretty spread out, and it seems as though the top 3 a little bit ways ahead of the rest of the field at the moment. As I say that, Jack Rose, championship contender, improves to 4th there in the Renault.
Yeah, Javi's currently second best, I think, out of the championship contenders. Maze, of course, currently out on top. The quiz question to Combi, 2011 British Grand Prix, who won it? No looking at your phone, no looking at a tablet, no looking it up on mobile data, because I know you'll probably do it. Oh, and it's our Storm out the final corner, 27 flat, but goodness me, that was a hairy moment. He nearly crashed coming off the pit wall. That is a really unstable car out on track, and the Alfa Romeo will be hoping to try and improve. We are halfway through qualifying. Ranheim has just started onto another lap. He's now coming up towards Brooklands, and it's a 26.9 through the first sector for Ranheim out on track. I'm glad to say as well, Graham Chappell and Cowboy now live for Division 4 action. If you want to try and or if you want to whet your appetite even further with Division 4 action, you can go and watch that, or you could just stay here and watch Division 5, or you could just watch both of them and not look up the quiz question. Answer is Ranheim is invalidated coming through Cops, and Javrus and Jippy Storm were getting out of his way as well.
Up in front of the road there, Tornheim is going round the other AlphaTauri, now gets on the brakes, going into Vale, takes it in dark gear, a little bit of higher gears, what we've been seeing from other drivers, maybe valuing traction on the exit rather than the engine speed. It's a minute improvement, goes through into 5th place now for Tornheim. Not really much happening there with that lap. Of course, Ranheim unable to improve. The Mercedes still in the pit lane now. I think Rock City is just heading out there. So we'll see how the Mercedes are able to get on. We are now into the second half of this qualifying session. A lot of laps in front of us, that is for sure. Still Ranheim, one of the first laps of the session, still the quickest, a 24.9 is at the top. We'll see how the other drivers are able to get on. Maze and Rock City, those Mercedes are always a powerhouse in qualifying, and I'm expecting them to try and strike back at Ranheim in the final 8 minutes here in quali.
Yeah, Schmitzky's on a lap, he's on a set of soft compounded tyres, he's 7,000 up coming through the end of the first sector, through Luffield, now through Woodcote and on towards Cobbs. There's a car out to the left hand side, that's Tornheim getting out the way. Is now Schmitzky comes through, turn 9 out on track through Cobbs, lovely flat out through there from Schmitzky, can take that around 190 mile an hour now through Beckett's, down it into 7th, and then down it to 5th to try and get the run out. Schmitzky, however, runs into 6th gear, runs wide. It's a good lap though so far. He's going to go around Rock City sort of time, I think. 102.2 through the middle sector, exactly where Rock City I think was on his lap. So now Schmitzky comes round through the final couple of corners. Of course, the homebred driver here from Britain, and he's hoping to try and get ahead of Tornheim and Jack Roos, certainly for 4th position, currently in qualifying with 7 minutes to go. Ranheim, Maze, Rock City out on top. Schmitzky comes across the line, and he goes 4th by 0.02 of a second ahead of Jack Roos. I think he might find it difficult to try and improve again on that lap, because that looked really clean.
Yeah, but of course I'm sure every driver has time to find on their runs at the moment. Maka now just heading round in the Red Bull. Is it an improvement? Yes, it is. It goes up into 4th place now for Maka, nearly placing Rock City, and Jimmy Storm now improving up into 4th place. Very, very close now in that area of the field. Rock City under a bit of pressure to hold that. He is now out on the track though on another flying lap. At the moment, is anyone near the end of a flying lap? I think the furthest driver along is Nilsson in the McLaren. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the McLaren is now on a solid lap. They're heading through Chapel to the 3rd sector. Let's see how Nilsson is able to get on. It's been a rough season so far. Can he get on? It looks quick through the 2nd sector.
He's 6/10 up, nearly 7/10 up. In fact, he's going to be in and around Rock City, Jibby Storm, Macca, that sort of area. If there's another 125.4, I'm going to eat a hat, quite literally. Nilsson now coming out the final couple of corners through 16 and 17. I think with that lock-up, I'm not going to be eating a hat here out on track. Nilsson across the line. Oh, it's a 25.5. Thank goodness for that. Rock City goes third. Jibby Storm fourth. Macca in fifth. Nilsson 25.5 in sixth. And Rock City 5/10 up. Coming through Stowe. He's still behind Ranheim, I think, in terms of theoretical best. But now Rock City coming out towards the final couple of corners through Vale and then in towards Club. This is looking like a really good lap. He doesn't get the apex right. Comes across the line and that cost him. Ooh. That running out wide of the apex really cost him. If he tried to get it on the inside, he would have got pole position, I think. For now, Ranheim is still out on top, but a good improvement still by Rock City by 4.5 at least.
See if he has more time to find, but yeah, I agree with you. If it weren't for that mistake, he's only 300ths down. I think that would have been easily with a pole position, but don't forget, that lap from Ranheim was set right at the beginning of the session. He has more time in that. I am almost certain of that fact. So let's keep an eye out then as the AlphaTauri driver, current provisional pole sector, is flying on a lap then. Through Adrian on to the Wellington Straight. DRS has now opened as he powers down, and let's see how the first sector is looking. It's a little bit down actually, just 800ths, but he gets a really nice entry line going into Brooklyn to try to pull it back then. Going through Luffield, one of the most difficult corners on the track, testing your patience as you apply the throttle. Decent exit from Ranheim, easy flat through Woodcut, and let's see how this lap is going to continue to reach the halfway point now. Heading through Cops, completely flat out, easily in qualifying. It can be a bit of a left in the race. If you're running behind another car, now you head through Maggots and Beckett's there. That's fantastic high-speed section. Now you exit through Chapel. Looks nice and clean there. Good line all the way through. Ranheim now is up by 1/10.5. 1.6 to the second sector. That's around about where Rock City was. Now can he find more in this last sector? Attacking the entry. Coming in as Stowe. Just a little bit of the curve on the outside. How clean is the last chicane? You hit the brakes. It's going to be third gear. Yet again, hooks up the apex nicely, runs it out on the exit. That should be a faster time for your pole setter. Yes, it is. It's a 1:24.8. Not a massive improvement, but an improvement it is nevertheless. ODD Ranheim is on pole position, and can Rock City, can Maze, Jimmy Storm, can anyone else top that time? 2 and a bit tenths clear, but there are still 3 minutes for someone else to try and topple that pole time.
I believe Maze actually is on an out lap, but what I'm thinking is certainly Maze has only set 1 lap so far, and that's that 1:25.1. He, I think, is going to improve ahead of Rock City, maybe even challenge Ranheim. You see how quick he is. Maze has already got a pole position so far this season. Ranheim, Rock City, Maze currently a top 3, less than 3 minutes to go, so this is where it starts to get a little bit intense as a car around through the final couple of corners. Is that NSR Storm by any chance? I think it is.
Yes, Storm at the end of a lap, validated and then made a mistake. So yeah, better disappointment from Storm. He's got to try and get that back round, but he's parked on the side of the track. That's to let the car through. Yeah, so you'll see how he gets on in the rest of the lap. Maze has just started on what may well be a final run. Let's see what improvements Maze is able to find as Jeffrey's joined late now back in the session. So we'll get another run from Jeffrey, and I think one of his best races of the season that he's had so far was one where he started from the back of the field. So let's see how Jeffrey is able to get on. It's not been a great season for the Red Bull driver so far, so I'd love to see him maybe have a good comeback drive here today.
Oh, Maze is invalidated coming out of Brooklands. He just rolled too much of the curb coming through Brooklands. He's got luckily another chance to try and get this, but with 2 minutes to go in the session, he's going to have plenty of time to set another lap. But look at the cloud conditions out on track. The cloud has now suddenly begun to build, so any improvement, I think, might be hampered out on track with these cloud conditions, and certainly the track temperature is going to go down, so any improvement might be just little amounts rather than a big improvement. Jeffrey does join in. 1.5 minutes to go. You may as well retire from the session because you are not getting that car out the pit lane.
I hope this doesn't cause any bugs as well, because I know that drivers joining through qualifying can create some lobby issues. Let's hope that is not the case here today. R9 now retires in the session. Freak Rock over the line, goes 9th, and what's going on?
Maze is in. He's not improving. Maze is into the pit lane, invalidated, so I wonder if this was a this and next lap invalidated possibly out on track. I think Hulkenberger's coming in behind him. Yes, he's just came in, and there's a driver's just starting up on a lap. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody out there that is actually on a proper lap. Schmitsky isn't. Jack Roos has just started a lap. I think we might be best to go on with Free Gronk, to be honest. He's 0.2 of a second down coming through Luffield. And
he's backed off as well.
Yeah, he's backed off as well, and he's not going to get enough time to set another lap. So I think most of these guys are not improving. Jack Roos, though, 27 flat through the first sector. 0.4 improvement already from the Belgian in the Renault. I was going to find the right word there eventually. Had to think there. Jack Roos then coming down towards Cops. Let's see what he can do out on track. We've got Schmitsky as well out on lap. I think he's backed off if I'm not mistaken. That is him coming through Chapel. Yeah, he is backed off. He's not seen an improvement. Now Jack Roos through Maggot, then through Beckett, and then on the run out towards Chapel through turn 14. That is everyone pretty much done now. Jack Roos is 2/10 up. He's lost actually a little bit of time through this middle sector. So any improvement, I think, is going to be found. Maybe from Macca, maybe from Jibby Storm. They could try and trouble. Slapmy King and Day Miles are also on laps. We'll come on board with them in just a second. But Jack Roos now coming around the final couple of corners. Let's see what he can do. We've got Rock City, I think, going to be next across the line. But Jack Roos across the line doesn't find much time at all. He goes up to 7th, but doesn't find the time. Rock City is 700ths down. He needs to find a really special final sector. He needs to put this on pole position to have any sort of chance of defeating Ranheim. Rock City, round the final corner. I don't think it's going to be enough across the line. Oh, 200ths of a second. Goodness me, that is close. Day Miles, 102.6 through the middle sector. Now through Vale and into Club. Let's see what the Welshman can do as he flies through the final corners. It's 11th position from him out on track. Slapmy King has retired coming into the pit lane. Jibby Storm now. Not sure what he's doing out on track. 25.4. Macca's gone 3rd. 25 flat. Nice lap from him. But Jibby Storm's on a good lap across the line. He goes 4th. Just ahead of Maze, I think, with that lap. So Jibby Storm goes 4th. There's the confirmation there. And let's have a look at the full grid order at the end of qualifying. Ranheim by 200ths of a second out on top from Rock City in second. The two Norwegians on the front row of the grid. Macca, best qualifying, I think, from him so far this season in 3rd, with Jibby Storm in 4th, Mays in 5th, Nilsson 6th, Jack Roos 7th, Schmitsky 8th, Gronk 9th, Torenheim 10th, Daymars on 11th, Passels 12th, Hulkenberg 13th, NSR Storm 14th, Invictus, Jeffrey, Slapmy King and Salas, who got disqualified from the session, not setting any times at all. And of course the top 10 will start on the same compound of tyre that they started on, provided of course it is a dry race. But Ranheim out on top, Rock City in second. Stian Rambo, as he was formerly known, really good in qualifying, really good consistency, but I believe that's his first pole position of the season.
Yeah, I can't recall any for him so far, so that's a great sign as well. Maybe the name change is coming very handy, is giving him a bit of sort of inspiration ahead of this one. Overcast conditions ahead of the race. Let's keep that noted, because we did see how much they evolved just in the 18-minute qualifying session. So keep an eye out. It could go sunny, but it can also certainly be certainly bad news for the drivers in terms of the conditions. So keep an eye out. That could certainly shift. And we're going to be keeping our eyes peeled for that one. So yeah, very intriguing prospects, I think, ahead of this race. I feel like Rock City probably had the speed, had the pace to put it on pole position, but he saw both of his final laps. He made a couple of errors that cost him that. I'm very excited to see how he does against Ranheim. Also, with most of the championship contenders starting a little bit further down. Some of them, such as Invictus, starting right there at the back of the field after mistakes in qualifying. So it should be a fascinating race to watch. We have a bit of a mixed up grid here compared to what we usually see, but hopefully one that's going to produce us a great race.
Yeah, just moments away then from the formation lap here in Britain. It is, of course, myself, James Head, and Daniel Hoggard taking you through the action. I'll repeat that again. Daniel Hoggard. I thought you were going to pick that up. Yeah, that's just my way of speaking, to be honest, there. Coming out. Goodness me. At least I'm not called Aiden. There we go. Ranheim, though, starting us off on the formation lap. And with it being overcast conditions, most of the guys, it appears, Daymiles, Pastels, Storm, Invictus and Silas, going for the set-off compound of tyres. Now, I'm reading that possibly as two ways. Either they're thinking that the track is going to evolve and possibly go for a set of mediums towards the end, or it's going to rain and they're all going to go on intermediates within the first 10 laps.
Well, that is certainly very fascinating. I think also you can't forget, as I mentioned earlier, Silverstone is a relatively low tyre deck track. You're not going to be seeing too many alternate strategies. That said, you usually see more than 3 outside of the top 10. So that is fascinating, and we've got to keep a close eye and see how that's going to affect things. We did mention the overcast conditions. We can mention, of course, what impact that could have. And yeah, so keep certainly watch out for Hulkenberg, Jeffrey, and Sammy King. See how they progress if they're able to first of all, get through the first few laps without damage, and then maybe go on to bigger and better things throughout the remainder of the race, charging through. So yeah, let's keep this going then. Of course, anyone inside the top 10 starting on soft tyres. And James, after the issues that we've had the last 2 weeks, I'm really just hoping that we get away cleanly this time.
Yeah, so am I. There's a pretty good pit stop strategy. Softs to hards, lap 10 to 13 around outside on track. Sometimes, though, these guys can pit in from about lap 7, lap 8, try and last out those tyres to the end. We've had a question in, well, we've had an answer to our quiz question, actually. Alonso would have in 2011. So he was the winner in 2011 here at Silverstone. And with all of that being said, and we're coming towards the end of the formation lap, and I'm trying to ramble on so I can put you on the spot. Who's your top 3?
Nicely done. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say Rock City for the win here today. I'll go Ranheim. I think he'll get a shine as well in the race as well. Maybe get second. I'll say May is a reliable pick for 3rd place ahead of this one.
I'm going to go for Maze for the win, Rock City for 2nd, Mercedes 1-2, and Invictus for 3rd. I think Invictus is going to do a great job from 15th on the grid. We are just syncing up, and hopefully this is going to be a first-time start here at Silverstone. And it is. Yes. The red lights are on for round 6 of the championship here in Division 5. Long hold, but it's lights out and away we go. Ranheim gets a very good start. Salas has already glitched the timing board, so we'll have to try and make do. But Ranheim gets a very good start and has got Rock City's number all the way down in towards turn 1. Maka trying to go around the outside of Jibby Storm. Nearly a little bit of contact, I think, between NSR Storm and Hulkenberg. They were running wide, coming through Abbey and Farm, but coming through the end of the first sector, not looking too bad. And through the first couple of corners they come. Ranheim leads from Rock City in 2nd. Jibby Storm 3rd. Maka in 4th. Mays in 5th. Nilsson 6th. Jack Roos in 7th. Jack Roos is trying to get onto the back of Nilsson. And we're right on board with the man in 7th position as he tries to line up on a move. Oh, and he nearly goes into the back of him. And Schmidsky nearly goes, nearly goes into the back, and Jack Roos is off. Going wide, and there's a spinner in the background as well. NSL Storm, I think, has made contact, or spun by himself. So Jack Roos and NSL Storm well down the back of the field. How important is that? There's contact as well. Torenheimer's out.
And Silas spinning as well, and the Racing Point gets a penalty, and Invictus as well. It's chaos down there, and a full safety car already on lap 1. What a manic, chaotic start here at Breton, and my oh my, that's throwing spanners in the works. Look at all the penalties already for 4 of the drivers on the opening lap here at Breton. 5-second penalties given to Freak Frog, Invictus, Schmidsky and Silas. And wow, we saw Jack Roos going off and that as well. Silas and Tornheim came together, I think, and Tornheim went spearing into the Woodcock wall. Absolutely dramatic, and we're seeing early pit stops. Maka is going to come in from 4th position, so he's giving up a lot of track position. Is he going to be going for maybe hard tyres? An extremely ambitious strategy. I'm not sure if that's possible, but is he going to go for a ridiculous run at the end of the race, or 2-stop indeed? We'll keep an eye out, but yeah, the strategic element is going to be intriguing, as now we're going to see some of the other drivers with damage up at the back of the field pitting, but not that many actually. I think we only have 3 or 4 pit stops.
Yeah, Maka's in for a set of hard compound of tyres there, my friend, and not getting to the end of the race at all. And Maka is going to come out in 15th position, sorry, because Hohenheim is already out of the race. Safety car then is out on track, and unfortunately I didn't catch what happened there in terms of the incident, but what I can tell you is that Rock City is in 2nd position out on track. He is behind Ranheim, and looking at the position changes, ignore Jack Roos, Storm and Maka. In fact, ignore Storm, Maka and Ranheim, I should say. No, ignore Maka and I don't know who else. These are really confusing me. Maka is coming through the first sector. Freak, Gronk and Salas 16th and 17th. So it's only Maka that we're waiting on to change the positions. And there we are. So there are the correct positions. I'm looking at the position gains out on track. Invictus up 6, Jeffrey up 6. But really good start, I think, from Day Miles in 6th position. Up from 11th up to 6th already.
Fantastic from Day Miles, and we're going to see what the human version of him can do potentially over the course of this race. He's got Nilsson very much in his sights. But yeah, Ranheim did everything he needed to do off the line, got away brilliantly. Rock City now chasing him down. Jimmy Storm able to jump Maze going through the first lap there, and that's going to be key to watch out for. Of course, those two are in a bit of a championship fight, only 13 points separating those guys, so they could be going to war out there as well. Near the back of the field, you've got to be looking for maybe some hard chargers, maybe trying to make up some ground. Of course, we know Invictus, great start, moving well up the field. Now runs in 9th place, but with a 5-second stop-and-go penalty, so he's going to have to take that pain maybe later on in the race. I'm just going to check, no pit stops, I don't believe, out of the race leaders out there. Sammy King flirted with it, but is going to stay out in the Ferrari. I'm not sure what you're tracking, James. Anything to note?
Sammy King was weaving his tyres and he nearly spun coming onto the grass just before Vale. So Sammy King, literally, you nearly commentators cursed him right there. But he's all fine. He's in 13th still, and I think with his Constantine effect now starting to be effect, safety car still out on track. Salas we're just waiting on to come and rejoin onto the back, and then we're back underway on officially lap 3 out of 26. But these guys, interestingly, will not use their DRS until lap 6 out on track. Down the Wellington straight on lap 6. How important is that? Obviously with an early safety car, how disruptive could that be from some of the guys like Jibby Storm, Rock City, who were trying to get to Ranheim? How disruptive is that for them to try and make an early charge?
DRS is certainly very, very powerful at this circuit. You see it all the time. DRS is an integral part of the racing at Silverstone, particularly on the F1 games. You see that going into Brooklands, going into Stowe. Overtaking opportunities are presented because of that DRS, and it does make it a lot tougher for the guys that are second in a train to be able to make those moves done. That does benefit Ranheim, and if he's able to just pull together that quali pace, they can maybe get that all-important 1 second gap if he gets a great restart and a clean run through the first few laps onto lap 6. Then if he gets out that 1 second gap, it's much easier, because then Rock City and the likes may have to be watching over their shoulders. You know, you could have Jimmy Storm if he keeps up with Rock City, then on the attack, pressuring and trying to make overtakes, and it gives Ranheim just that opportunity to run away and run his own race at the front.
Yeah, and the safety car light, I will time this once again, will go out around about now. There we are. Ranheim is now the safety car out on track. I've done that 3 times without effect, and I know where this safety car does go out in terms of the lights. Ranheim, though, is now the safety car, and he has got to try and back up the pack. I think he's going too quick. He is going well too quick, and he's going to wait, I think, to Vale, because there's the safety car, only going into the pit lane now, and Ranheim is going to have to wait this. He thinks that the safety car is going to come in. This, I feel, is going to be quite a messy start, as Ranheim at our final corner. We're back underway, and he's fine. Ranheim starts us off. Storm has already gone through Maka, I believe, further down the field, but Ranheim lead. Rock City in second. Jibby Storm in third. Nilsson is right on the back of Maze, coming through turn 1, through Abbey, and then into Farm, and not close enough. But Maze has got a horrible start, actually. He's lost nearly 1.5 seconds on the front 3.
Yeah, I think his tyres must have been colder. Maybe Ranheim's unusual restart tactics cost them out, but in the end it worked. He's now over a second clear up in the front of the field. Rock City was reluctant to really close up to him, was reluctant to really sit close, and has maybe lost out in that regard. Further back down the field, Hulkenberg's going a little bit wide, and out to the outside goes Invictus round Luffield. Surely not all the way around there, no! Hulkenberg will just about hang on to it, but Invictus has a good exit. He's back on him, heading through Woodcote there. The ERS, though, is being used in the defence for the Haas driver.
No.
Invictus looks to the inside, did not go side by side through Cobbs. They just about managed to keep it clean, and we hold their breath, and now we let a sigh of relief out that they have not come together here on the 4th lap of this race. Invictus really going at it. Hulkenberg running a little bit wide into Chapel. Invictus gets up on the long side, and they head onto the Hanger straight. And Hulkenberg squeezes him out then. All going through it now. They all close up the passes. So passes under pressure. Invictus round the outside into the snow. Hulkenberg is forced to run blind, gets underneath, and Invictus gets the move done into 8th place. Brilliant from Invictus. Brilliant piece of offensive driving. He was persistent. He was almost annoying to Hulkenberg, but in the end, he had to yield. Through goes Invictus. Now there's Pastel's in its sight, but Pastel's hasn't had a great restart, and he's holding back all those drivers. Almost 6 seconds, almost 2 seconds, sorry, is the break between P6 and 7.
Yeah, Demal's trying and latch onto the back of Nilsson and Mays out on track. Nobody overtaking apart from Invictus there. Invictus just read that situation completely right, 100% correct, and Invictus through and he's up into 8th position. I know Hulkenberg was on a different set of tyres, but still, Schmidtke's going to try and have a go on Jack Roos for 11th as he pulls to the inside coming through Brooklands, but he's not close enough. Jeffrey just running out wide there as well. Jack Roos following because of the dirty air, and Schmidtke trying to stay as much as out of the dirty air as possible, and he will now try and have a run down in towards Cops, but don't think he's going to try and get the move done as Freak Ronk is now through an NSR Storm, who I think went wide coming out of Luffield. So Freak Ronk now up a position up into 14th, and he's actually pitted for fresh soft compound of tyres out on track. And that's going to be important, certainly in the shorter term rather than the longer term here for his progress through the field. And Victor's running wide, running wide, I should say, coming out of Chapel. But he's not close enough to the back of Passau. Somebody that is close, though, Schmidtke, going to try and go around the outside, but Jack Roos, that is a perfect defensive driving move, going down the inside to try and defend that off. That is a brilliant piece of driving, and Schmidtke could not find a way through that car. That Renault literally looked like a banana skin out on track.
And yeah, nice one, James. Jack Roos doing well to hold on to that 11th place, but he seems to be struggling for pace. Invictus slides on the inside line on Pasels, dives it down the inside into Village, but Pasels holds it around the outside, has the inside for the loop, but surely yes, DRS is going to come into play here. He's going to open it out there as they head through entry now over the line, and surely Laredo can hold this back. Invictus slides on the inside line, it's Jack Roos going round in the background, down there at turn 5. It has been a nightmare race for the Renault. Invictus did get past Pasels, but my oh my, Jack Roos, that is a disaster for the championship contenders, spinning now right to the back of the field. Surely has to rely on a safety car now. What a horrible, horrifying race has been so far for Jack Roos.
Yeah, terrible start for Jack Roos. I think he ran wide just coming out of entry and has spun the car coming through there, possibly on the outside curb. I think he was in a battle possibly with Schmidtke out on track, so might have been the case where they made a little bit of contact. I couldn't tell you. We were riding on board with something different, but look at the penalties that are now beginning to pick themselves up out on track, and there they are. 3 seconds for Dame... 3 seconds, I should say, for Nilsson, 6 seconds for Day Miles. Invictus have got 5 seconds stop go. Jeffrey's got 3 seconds. Schmitz has got a 5-second stop go, and Storm and Macca have got 3 seconds. Ranheim, though, running away out in from Rock City second, Jibby Storm in third, Mason fourth. We shouldn't really ride on board with the top 4 because look at the gaps. It's really stagnant. 1.5 seconds, 1.8, 1.3. Ranheim running away with things out in front, and most of the action could happen towards the midfield.
Yeah, Ranheim, his pace is relentless, his pace is consistent, and his pace is too much for Rock City to live with at the moment. And Jimmy Storm and Mays are dropping even further back. Nilsson is actually keeping these guys honest. He is sticking right on the rear end of Mays, but he's burned almost all of his ERS in doing so. So how much longer can he sustain that effort for? It's quite spread out in general, I have to say, throughout the field. No one's really threatening an overtake at this stage. Everyone's just sort of sitting stationary. I'm looking to see any potential overtakes shaping up. Nilsson is close to Mays, but I think his lack of ERS, his lack of ability to use the overtake button may well cost him a chance at running on, and Mays still has about 50% ERS. Nilsson is down at 5%. So he's really burnt through that, trying to stick with the Mercedes. And he will have DRS, though, going on to the hangar straight. He puts on the overtake, but he's too far back. Mays just has too much in hand, and Nilsson looks like he can keep up at the moment, but he's struggling to make any inroads. Jimmy Storm is still very threatened up there in third place, and Rock City's had a bad lap, so Rock City looks to have decent pace up the front, but he's not able to break away. Jimmy Storm, Mays, all of them are now starting to converge on the second place Mercedes.
Oh, Ranheim running wide there, 9/10 per second lost on that personal best. Rock City across the line in second. Nilsson really struggling. I'll pose a question to you. If you were in Nilsson's shoes right now, what would you be doing? Would you be trying to conserve that ERS in terms of like a one-off, one-on terms of strategy out on track? Or would you be trying to go for that overtake on Maze? Because Maze looks quite an easy target, but he's catching Jibby Storm, so surely Nilsson, as he's now saved up the ERS coming through the first sector, could have a go at the back of Maze. But what would you do in this situation?
Well, in my experience, once you burn through your ERS, it's very difficult to just change your habits and actually get it back. For Nilsson, it's a difficult situation because I feel like if he starts to hold back on it, he may well lose out to TTML behind him and he may drop that DRS as well. So he's got to be careful with how he approaches things here. Nilsson, I don't think he's really got much of an opportunity to save it, and I think at the moment he has to be looking more over his shoulder as TTML was very wide going through cops. He's really been struggling to keep within the 2 white lines already here today. Already 9 seconds of penalties inside the first 8 laps of the race. Nilsson makes a bit of an error. They're going through Chapel, and Damel's really pushing on the exit. Nearly goes around. He puts on the overtake, and Damel's trying to get up to it, but the DRS is going to save Nilsson, I think. They head down into Stowe, and the McLaren will hold on there. Damel's gets the turn it all wrong. It's going to run out a little bit wide, but these guys still running in a train. Maze is holding station, but at the moment he doesn't look particularly quick. And instead of chasing down the top 3, the championship leader is having to look back. Going round, spins it coming out of the club, and he loses the car completely. Keeps it out of the wall, but Nilsson, he was running so solidly up at the front, and that is going to cost him dear. Pazels will go through. Hulkenberg and Jeffrey, I think, will go through. Jeffrey pulls alongside and through, and Nilsson, my oh my, that's heartbreaking. Having run at the front for so long, Shimensky's now lining him up as they head into Village. He opts for the inside line, hangs back at the last minute, but Nilsson, Shimensky nearly goes around to the background. These guys in general really struggling for grip out there. The track surface does not look good at all, and these guys really having to hold back. As Jeffrey now lining up on Hulkenberg, is he going to go for the dive, going down in a Brooklyn, and he goes around, making contact with the rear wheel of the Haas car, and the Red Bull spinning to the back of the field. Jeffrey reverses into the gravel actually, and he recovers. He may well be behind Jack Rose as well. Oh, Jeffrey just misjudged that one, and he's going to go round again down at Lawfield. Horror show for Jeffrey, and surely he's relying on a safety car to get anywhere near the points here today.
Yeah, Jeffrey needs to come into the pits, put on a fresh set of rubber. He could get a set of hards, I think, towards the end of the race. Could try and undercut a few towards the end. Maka is right on the back of NSR Storm as well. Bob will cut in. Victus, who's right on the back of Dave Miles. Dave Miles gets it all wrong again. And then Victus is going to pick him off like Hulkenberg did. I think Dave Miles was trying to look towards the pit lane there, possibly. But Invictus tries to go around the outside. And Dave Miles just parks the car way too much. And Invictus will not be happy, I don't think, with that one. As Ranheim has into the pit lane. Ranheim is into the pit lane, but it's not showing on my end as him being into the pits. That's why, because I had the penalties up.
So he is coming in. It's from medium tires. He's looking to stretch those. Maze also diving into the pit lane behind him. Up in front, Daymels runs very wide through turn 3. And now Invictus lining up the inside line through the loop. Daymels parking the car again. Switching his line mid-corner to try and hold it back. But I don't think he has much of a fighting chance here. Now, ERS in order. Invictus going for the outside line, and Daymels thinks about moving on. Of course, with it, but Invictus, solid move down the inside. What a drive so far this has been from Invictus. You were right about him. He is flying at the moment, but a long way behind the top 2 still. But even still, at this point, even with a penalty, Invictus is flying, and his pace looks so strong. You think about what he could have done in qualifying. Maybe even got pole position if he got a proper lap together. Daymels, another penalty, and he's going to the wall and out.
He just got the curb, ran the outside, coming through cops, and he's gone into the wall. And that, unfortunately for him, is the end of that. He was running so consistently, but that car looked really unstable, I've got to say. Even when Invictus passed him, that car looked really unstable. Jeffrey's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car as well, as I can hear myself twice in the background, which is fantastic. But Dave Miles is in, well, he's out of the race, and now Rock City, from the lead of the race, now is into the pit lane from the lead. With Jippy Storm second and Victus in third. The pit window now open, lap 11 to 13 for a set of medium compound of tyres for Rock City. And on they go. And looks like Hulkenberg's the only one that's staying out on a set of mediums. Maka also, Freak Gronk also. Freak Gronk, quite surprising. He's on a set of soft compound tyres staying out there. But Rock City is going to join in 4th position out on track. And Jippy Storm is going to come out in 5th position out on track as well. Ranheim is behind these guys because of the safety car. Macca and Rock City, that safety car, massively beneficial. They're obviously going to group up, but just to put it into perspective, Macca has undercut Runheim by nearly 10 seconds. 10 seconds out on track, and Rock City has undercut Runheim by nearly 5 seconds. Unbelievable stuff, as Hulkenberg has just lost position for the leader of the race from Freak Ronk.
That's very curious. I'm not exactly sure what's happened there and how that's even possible. But Freak Ronk does inherit the race lead. Let's see if he's going to get given any penalties for that. I'm just looking in front. I can sort of see, in terms of the conditions, the sun looks like it's trying to show its face. So maybe these conditions are beginning to improve, and the temperature may begin to increase, and the sun may well begin to come out in the next few laps. What this has done for Macca, could he possibly try and get those to the end of the race? I'm not sure about his chances of even holding on at the front, because I suspect that the drivers behind are going to be swarming all over him, looking to get those moves done as soon as possible. Expect Rock City, Jimmy Storm, Ranheim to be right on immediately. Ranheim has lost the net race lead, now has to fight to regain it. Rock City has inherited that, and Jimmy Storm is chasing him down, looking to try and grab yet another race victory. So this is very, very intriguing now. Ranheim looked very comfortable up at the front of this race. An unconventional safety car restart brought him clear of the chasing pack. And they're doing it all again, this time from the further back in the field. Ranheim's now got a real test of character ahead of him. Out in second place, trying to make his way through. He has the pace. Can he put it together? Well, Rock City and Jimmy Storm surely are going to put up a tough fight here.
Freak Ronk leads us on to lap 12. I can't believe we're not even halfway yet, to be honest. We've had 2 safety cars and 2 crashes. Miles and Tornheim both out the race. Obviously contact with Silas for Tornheim. Miles just spinning by himself, bringing out the second safety car. Looks good to get back underway next lap around. And remember, the DRS is not going to be in operation as soon as the safety car ends. It's going to be on lap 15 coming down the Wellington Straight. That's where the DRS usage is going to happen once again out on track. But Freak Ronk currently leading the safety car. He will be the safety car under the pit stops. Invictus, for me, that safety car has really cost him because he was ahead. Yep. He was catching Mays at the time. Mays had pitted in earlier than him. And Invictus now down in 10th position. He's got a mountain to climb if he wants to win this, but he can do it.
He also serves his 5-second penalty, so that is an advantage. Yeah. Jeffrey's out there with a drive-through penalty that he cannot serve at the moment. So I wouldn't say this has actually been a horrible thing for Invictus. He can try and clear pass sales as quickly as he can. Pass sales can try and defend. We'll see how that battle unfolds. But yeah, I don't think Invictus is exactly down and out just yet, and his position may well have been improved even. Let's see how that all works out in the coming laps. Of course, we will be seeing this safety car peeling in at the end of this lap. The entire field is now converged. Everyone is now together. And Freak Ronk now has the opportunity. I'm surprised they stayed out at this point, as Silas picked up a penalty under safety car. That's rather unusual, as now the safety car guides it round into the third sector. Let's see if I can predict when it's going to go over the line. I'm going to say no. Just a fraction early. Not bad on my end, but yeah. Freak Ronk's going to lead it out. What tactic is he going to go for in this restart?
He's going to try and have to be aggressive. He's going to try and take the Runheim tactic from the first safety car. He's going to back up the field enough. Silas has got a 5-second penalty for severe collision with Nilsson. That's further down the field in 13th. So Freak Ronk now leads us through the final couple of corners. Now is the time not to go. It will be underneath this Rolex sign where he will go from. And I'm even wrong because he's not even going just yet, but he's keeping consistent pace, which is important. And Freak Ronk now, he can fly it out the final couple of corners, and Freak Ronk now puts the hammer down and has already pulled out a second over Hulkenberg. A fantastic restart. Jimmy Storm is side by side with Rock City coming down and towards turn 1, but Rock City hangs on. Macca struggling on those set of hard to try and get them up to temperature. In fact, he's down the inside line from Hulkenberg. This is on board with Jimmy Storm's point of view in 5th position, and Macca just runs wide. Got to be very careful. Hulkenberg leaves in the room, and Hulkenberg's through, and he's up into 2nd position. But now this gives Rock City and Jimmy Storm a chance on the Wellington Straight to try and get back. Rock City running in the slipstream of Macca, but he's not quite close enough. Freak Ronk, though, has pulled away, and those set of softs are going to be quite fresh early on, but it means they're going to be worn towards the second half of this race. Freak Ronk leads, Hulkenberg 2nd, Macca 3rd.
Yeah, it's a pretty static restart then. Maka had a little go. They try to clean that second place, just overcooked it, and now he's going to be looking over his shoulder. Rock City is chasing him down. Jimmy Storm and Ranheim tucked it out. Even Jeffrey is now getting a run at Ranheim. Indeed, then. Let's keep an eye out there. Ranheim really struggling to make any sort of impression on this restart. Oh. Look at Rock City, though. He's all over Maka, nearly lost it, going through Chapel. Now, surely the Mercedes can have a run out in there. The Red Bull, is he going to cover towards the inside lane? He moves to the inside. Rock City cannot go out from this far back. Maka defends it. He holds it. And he will maintain third place. And Invictus further back now.
Brilliant.
Mazels tries to sweep through. He does exactly the same move he did earlier on in the race. Invictus moving forward on the up yet again. Here's Jimmy Storm now lining up Rock City over the line to start lap 14 in this race. Jimmy Storm had that look, but Rock City has the legs on the straight to maintain it and just about sustain that fourth place. I'm surprised. I expected the net race leaders to really make more of an impression on the likes of Maka, but they're setting through, and at the moment they've not been able to make any progress at all here.
They're caught in dirty air and they're caught in a DRS trend. It's as simple as that. Freak Gronk is pulling away 1.2 seconds. The gap is quite stagnant. Here comes Rock City though, trying to attack Maka down in towards Brooklands, but not quite close enough. Brooklands, of course, the old circuit, of course, where now the Bentley headquarters, I think, is in real life. That's one for the fat geeks out there. Freak Gronk leads. Hulkenberg second. There's moves going on further down the field, though. Sammy King is down on the inside out of Nilsson, and Schmidtsky has gone right around the outside of Silas through Luffield. Now Nilsson's coming back around the outside, and Sammy King has to give way, and Nilsson is through, and he's up into 11th position. And what have you seen?
I was actually just tracking that battle. A little bit of breath holding again, as it looked like they were going to go side by side yet again. And to Comp's corner, but they held back from that one, just about got better of it. Up towards the front. Again, Rock City pressures Maka, but again, Maka has all the answers and is maintaining third place, doing a superb job back down the field. Shimetsky cruises past Storm. Silas will pick him up as well. I know they go to wheel to wheel as up in the front. Freak Gronk has come out for the net race lead. Storm is able to get through on Silas up in the 14th place, but Jeffrey there, the cars on the older tyres, now opting to dive to the pit lane. Freak Gronk and Jeffrey now in after the tyres that they started the race on, so they will pit surely to the end of the race, barring any other safety cars, and given the way the rest of the race has gone so far, that is certainly not a done deal. We'll see how that all unfolds. Hulkenberg still leads the race, but he's being reeled in. Maka keeping him honest. Now DRS is activated, and now we can get to proper DRS action. Now look at Invictus chasing down on Maze. Can he get through on the Mercedes to the inside, and then Brooklyn is going to go for it then.
No.
Down the inside, Maze shuts the door. Good defending for Maze. He covers the line. Invictus in the end. He went for it, but it was half-hearted and he couldn't find a way through. Maze has just not looked, though, up to speed to what we usually see from Invictus, trying to make a move stick. Can't quite get through at the moment. Maze is struggling. He's lost the DRS of the cars in front.
I was just going to say Invictus is right on the back of Maze, and he's running all over the back of him, quite literally, and these guys are now beginning to get held up. These leaders, Rock City, Jimmy Storm, Ranheim, are now beginning to get held up because Maka is still in this DRS train. Schmidtsky is through on Sammy King. I think that was through Maggots and Beckett, if I'm not mistaken. So he is through. Sammy King now dropping down the field into 12th, but we're right on board further down as Sammy King now has absolutely flown by on Storm. And Storm runs wide. Silas now on the inside line, and Silas comes through, and Storm, I think, is really struggling out on track, and Jack Roos is going to dive it down the inside in towards Vale, and that is great stuff. And Ranheim and Jimmy Storm are side by side, and Ranheim is through, and Jimmy Storm, they make contact.
What on earth?
And I think Ranheim's let him back through. Has Ranheim got damage? Right side end plate damage, has he? He hasn't. I don't think so anyways, but this is letting Invictus now, and Invictus taps the back of Ranheim. Not really sure what's going on. I didn't really see what happened. I'm assuming Ranheim forced the move on Jimmy Storm coming out the final corner, and Ranheim going down into turn one has let him back through.
Well, what I think happened was Jimmy Storm actually went for a move on Rock City, got run out of road, and then Ranheim took that opportunity to go round the outside over the line. But I think he got an illegal overtake and was forced to try and let him back through, and Jimmy Storm wasn't expecting it. So that's why you saw Ranheim backing off there, and he now runs out in second place. I think these guys are extremely lucky to come out without damage ahead of that, but it's put Invictus and Maze right into this fight now. It has all come together. Up in the front though, Maka has no protection, and now he has a penalty. Surely Rock City can apply the pressure soon, but he's burnt through almost all of his ERS. He's really used that too aggressively. It's now Jimmy Storm gets alongside Hulkenberg as they head Invictus still, can he go right outside here? Hulkenberg onto the inside lane, is pitched in there, and Jimmy Storm sweeps around the outside. Now into that third place, Hulkenberg trying to lead up to the the racing point, and he's got damage now as Hulkenberg, and now Mace laying up through Club. He's trying to search for that outside lane. Hulkenberg just hangs on to it, but he was a little too ambitious trying to fight back. Invictus looking at Ranheim, back in the grid, to front of the grid. They're battling us now. Maze to the inside, into Village, looking for fourth place.
Oh my God!
And Invictus a late launch on Ranheim, backs out of it, and Maze now runs fourth incredibly, and Invictus is still attacking Ranheim. Passels and Nilsson, Smetsky, they're all with this. It's incredible. Ranheim now to the inside. Hulkenberg now dropping back. He has to yield that place. Ranheim up to fifth. Invictus now looking at that to the inside, going through Booklets to the outside through Muffield. He gets the move done. Superb yet again from Invictus. He's still chasing down Ranheim up in the front. James, what on earth is going on here? Since the restart, this race has been manic.
Absolute manic, and Maka is still holding off Rock City out in front. He is he's 6 tenths clear now of Rock City in second. Jimmy Storm's third, Maze in fourth. Look at Passel trying to get the run, and Hulkenberg actually runs him out of road. It caused a bit of a Constantine effect in behind. Hulkenberg needs to, I think, learn how to maybe just drive a little bit cleaner, not force drivers off track. Invictus are going to have a run on Ranheim as well, further up the field, but I don't think Ranheim has actually pulled away from Invictus, as now Nilsson, right on the back of Passels, comes down the inside line. Can the McLaren get the move done? This is ball. They're brave and they make contact. Nilsson is round, and Passels are nobody really at fault for that one, I think. Racing incident, and Nilsson now recovers the car, and he spins nearly again. Hulkenberg is into the pit lane, and now frees up that battle for fourth. Oh, just getting a little bit too anxious now out on track. The sun is shining, but these guys do have to keep it clean out on track. Silas, by the way, from getting disqualified in qualifying, is up into the top 10.
He's done a very solid job, and I think he has a wall of penalties already in this race. Now, Ranheim on Maze. Here we go, down to the inside. The former net race leader coming out, the championship leader to the inside. He's going to run a bit wide, though. Can he maintain it on the exit? Maze trying to fight back to the outside through Lawfield. Can he get that one done there? And Invictus right in there as well. Maze going to get squeezed out there, but he still can continue the fight. Ranheim with the line. The inside line through Woodcote. Well, hold on to that fourth place. Maze trying to get back to him. Heading into Cobb. Surely has the back out of this one. He's tentative on the inside. And look at the run that Invictus has. Now down towards Maggots to the inside. Too ambitious. Far too ambitious. And Invictus, after an incredible drive, spears into the wall. Heading through Beckers and immediately out the session. My critic host, he's out of things now. Invictus, he has such an incredible run, but I think he just went one step too far. We're trying to get Ranheim as well as Maze, and Invictus, who's been the star of the race so far, into the wall and now out of the session altogether. Disaster for the McLaren driver.
In racing, you have to make judgments, you have to make decisions, and the speed that Invictus got out of Copse, I knew from an absolute mile back that was going to end in absolute tears out on track. There is no other way to put it, and saying that was just too bold. He needs to just calm it down for next week and not go for moves like that, which are inevitably going to close. Maka is still holding sway out in front from Rock City in second, and Rock City, because he's burning through all of this ERS, Maka defends to the inside line. Rock City, because of it burning up all of this ERS, he cannot find a way through on Maka, and Maka, he cannot be committed to the end on these tyres, can he? 25 laps.
I suppose we'll get our answer in the next few laps then. If he's committed to going to the end, he'll probably...
23 laps, I should say.
23
Rock City's
laps.
got a penalty.
Yeah, we'll see. Rock City has a penalty as well as Maka, and Jimmy Storm may be on for this for the second week running as it stands then, if he can keep it clean as well. Jimmy Storm's really come to form in the last few weeks, and he may be on for the championship lead. Can Rock City get it this time now? He's using the last of his DRS to try and get up to him. It's desperate, but he has found the outside line. Finally, can he get it done this time? Maka holds the inside line. He's going to run about wide then, and Rock City still cannot get
Sammy
through.
King's right.
You have yellows back there. That's Sammy King that's going through there. Invictus is also down there, and yeah, that's so gutting. for those guys at the back. I am starting to lose my train of thought here. It is absolutely incredible stuff. Now fast lap from Ranheim. He's trying to claw his way back. It's Jimmy Storm now attacking Rock City, going down into Village. Hangs back for the moment, but the battle heating up at the front again. Maka somehow still the net race leader.
Jimmy Storm, if you're listening, you've got 3 seconds over Rock City, you've got 6 seconds over Maka. It's as simple as that. All he's got to do is stay in behind and win this. That's all he's got to do. Ranheim is 2 seconds behind. I don't think that 2 seconds is going to be closed up too much as Rock City again tries to go around the outside, but not quite close enough. Just looking at the amount of penalties that everyone's got, everyone's on 3, 6, 9, and then you've got Silas who's on 23 seconds worth of penalties. That's about the most amount of penalties I think I've ever seen picked up here around at Silverstone. Rock City again tries to close in on Maka, but Maka is defending for his absolute life, and it's because of one reason and one reason only: ERS.
Yeah, and he gets another penalty though. He could really drop to the field, and surely those tires are going to start going off in the next few laps. Rock City is now vulnerable. Jimmy Storm is right there with it, but how willing is he going to be to attack since he knows he has that penalty advantage? Rock City is on 2% ERS as he hits the brakes, going through to still regain some of that. But he's surely going to be under more pressure now as the Racing Point Championship contender Jimmy Storm now begins to light him up from behind. Maka doing all he possibly can, eking out as much as he can from those tires. Now has over 18 laps on him, up in the back of the field. Storm into the wall, going down there at Chapel. A disastrous run in the last few laps. Storm now out of contention now in that fight for major points paying positions at this stage. Hulkenberg now with a penalty. His race has really come undone in the last few laps as well. I'm looking up at the front. Jimmy Storm, his intentions may be to attack. He's closing on Rock City, but he will just think better of going out for anything too ambitious for the time being. Ranheim is slowly but surely eking this back. Maze is far behind as well, so that's not over yet. Oh. Jimmy Storm, it's an incredible exit coming off of Luffield. Rock City immediately tucking into his ERS reserves, and this is what I mean. He's just using it so aggressively. Any time a car gets near him or he gets near another car, he burns it away, and he's giving himself no chance to recover it. And if things keep on their course,
Maka's made a mistake.
Maka, no major mistake, and now surely Rock City on the attack.
Jimmy Storm might go 3 wide, running down in towards Stoll. This is looking quite promising now for the Racing Point to try and get them both done. He's now out of the slipstream. He's got one. Can he get the other? I don't think he can. He might try and go around the outside. He could switch it to the inside, but Maka defends the lead for now. Jimmy Storm, crucially though, gets past Rock City, and that was instinctive. That was because of ERS, and that is now for the net race lead, really, because Maka on 18 lap, 19 lap all hards is still going out in front. Jimmy Storm in second, Rock City in third. Ranheim now has joined the party, and he's latching onto the back of the front 3, and he's 6.5 tenths behind. Ranheim is not out of this at all.
But Jimmy Storm now has a clear run at getting the race lead out on track for good. But he doesn't get a great run going through the loop, and that's going to hold it back from a run at Maka. Ranheim now with it. So what advantage does he have in this battle? How much can he close in? Jimmy Storm's mistake going through turn 4 has cost him a chance at a look, and he does want to let him out wide. Rock City though doesn't have much in response. He's trying to save someone on ERS now. He's done a better job. He gets very close, heading through Luffield. These guys are flying with that down the field. Silas is lost out there. Parcells down the inside into Luffield will get the move done. Jamrus is on the attack as well. Silas, a great exit though, is going to come back in the Renault to the outside, heading towards Cobbs. They are side by side, and Parcells is going to have to yield that one. Getting out, but in the Renault runs very wide, but I think he will just about hold on to that up at the front. Speaking of up at the front, it's still holding station. Jimmy Storm is using his ERS. He is hunting for that race lead, but again, he's now tucked into the last of his reserves, closing up to Maka, and Maka, for about 10 laps after the safety car restart, still holding the race lead. And Jimmy Storm, Rock City, Ranheim, throw everything they can at him, but they cannot get past the Red Bull.
Maze is getting closer as well. 1.2 seconds is the gap now. Maze is beginning to eat into this. These guys are now running essentially in 2x2 formation. Maka, Jimmy Storm leading. Rock City, Ranheim finishing out for third. But Mays is beginning to close on these guys. He's in the clear air, out on track. He's doing a fantastic job, and now he's within DRS range on Ranheim, so now he joins the party as well. We could have a 5-way swan song here in Britain. This is an absolute unbelievable race so far. Maka is still hanging on. There is no way. If he gets 23 laps on that set of hard competitive tyres, then I will congratulate him personally later on. It's been an absolute phenomenal drive, and nobody, and I mean nobody, can get past him.
The only thing he has where he gets them is those 9 seconds of penalties, meaning he's probably going to drop down there into 6th position as it stands. So that has really held him back from really making more of an impression in this race. But he is still holding firm at the front. And if he crosses the line at first, but never mind all the penalties, that is a massive, massive achievement. And still, they charge at him, and still they cannot get at him. Can Jimmy Storm get up to him this time? He looks too far away, and he can't get through. Silas is off. Silas going through Chapel, spinning, recovering now into 10th place, and he surely will not go away from this race with a large haul of points now with all the penalties that he has on his head. Particularly, he can't use that as an advantage to maybe fight back. We're looking up the front. Jimmy Storm mounts that curve, heading through the final corner. He's going to be watching out for that. He cannot afford to go around. He cannot afford to make mistakes at this stage, because Ranheim, with no penalties, is chasing him down and Mays not far behind as well. Jimmy Storm has to get a move on here, but he's saved the RS. He's got this set up now, and Maka, little chirp from the rear tires, is going to be under more pressure. Is the move finally going to come through for Jimmy Storm 1990, who lines it up to the inside, plays the dummy, now has the line. Maka tries, he might, he doesn't have the grip, and Jimmy Storm, he's coming back down the inside. He gave it a go, but just had to yield, just had to get into that one, just had to think better of it. And finally, Maka is overhauled over the front. What a remarkable defence of the race lane it was, but he couldn't hold it back forever. Jimmy Storm, though, a little way through comps, you sense that this isn't even over. Let's hold that thought for a little moment, because Maka's trying to get up to him, but gets a little bit offline. I think that it may well just about be a done deal, but now Jimmy Storm, with the race lead out on track, may well just about be enough to see it through. But Ranheim is now on the offensive as well as he chases down Rock City. Maka coming back, but he hangs back for it one. He is just going to stay away, but the DRS keeping him in it, and it's not out of the question that he could come back at Jimmy Storm in the last 2 laps here. He looks on the inside to Bill.
He's going to try and put Jimmy Storm under a lot of pressure. 2 more laps to go. Silverstone is delivering once again here tonight. Ranheim is right on the back of Rock City, but he gets a little bit of a poo exit out of the dirty air, and he's still in P4 out on track. Jimmy Storm leads, Maka second. Those rear tyres look like they're about to go, and they look like they're about to shoot, I think, out on track, and he could have a puncture before the end. Rock City in third, Ranheim in fourth, Mays in fifth has now latched once again to the back. We saw Jack Roos go past on Parcels, by the way, around the outside through Brooklands, and now Rock City has got a major chance as Maka missed his DRS opening, and Rock City tries to go around the outside, but it's not quite close enough. He could try and get the run out of Luffield. He'll think about it, switches it to the wide outside, and tries to get the traction. In fact, he's now polting off the back of Ranheim.
Yeah, Ranheim now looking at him anyway, through he can try and conjure up. We have 1.5 laps left to go, and Rock City with another penalty, and that surely renders him out of a podium chance, and Mays is going to be pulling some points on him now in that fight. Ranheim looks like second place here, but can he go further out on track? He is a little bit closer to Rock City now, a little bit of a chirp of grass from the rear tires on the Mercedes, but he will just hang on to it. The DRS rate is keeping Rock City's provisional podium alive as Maka now dropping back. Jimmy Storm has 1 lap to go to avoid penalties, to avoid mistakes, and might just have it. He has 2 warnings, just Jimmy Storm. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination, and Ranheim is attacking again as he looks onto the rear wing. Oh, Rock City over the line to start the final lap here. Can Mays overhaul Ranheim? He gets a very poor run at that. Mays coming out of the head, going into turn 3. TTG Mays looks for the inside line, but Ranheim just about holds on to it in that 4th place, doing everything he can to maintain it, to hold it, and maybe get 2nd place in the end. He powers away and now looks set to maintain that 4th place. Jimmy Storm is 7/10 clear, 3/4 of the second clear, and it's been a thriller here at Silverstone since the second safety car restart. This battle for the lead has been enthralling, it's been entertaining, and it may well end up with the same result as what we had last week, because now Jimmy Storm has just half a lap left to keep it clean, and with another win there, with Nate's down in 5th, with Jack Roos down in 7th, and with Invictus not even in the picture, Jimmy Storm could be looking at a championship lead, or at least close to it, at the end of this round.
Yeah, he's certainly outscoring Maze, he's certainly outscoring Jack Roos as well. Jack Roos is still fighting there for 7th, but Jimmy Storm looks like he's got this, but Ranheim might have Rock City running down the straight towards Stowe. Ranheim, I think, has got this move done. He pulls alongside, he's going to have the car fully ahead, and Maze is going to try and go for the dive down the inside on his teammate, but he doesn't. Rock City tries to fight back, but what we can be sure of is the first two out on track, Jimmy Storm and Maka. Now, as Rock City attacks into the final couple of corners, it's not good enough. Jimmy Storm round the final corner, 2 out of 2 in 2 weeks. Jimmy Storm wins, Ranheim is 2nd, Maze in 3rd, Rock City 4th, Schmidtsky up to 4th in fact, with Rock City 5th, Maka in 6th. Goodness me, how many penalties these guys have got in behind has been unbelievable. Silas might finish last with the amount of his penalties that he's picked up. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1, which is NSL Storm that has spun. Silas across the line in 10th. He gets another 5 seconds added on to that. Freak Ronk across the line in 11th position. And now he goes up to 10th. Hulkenberg round the final couple of corners in 12th. Quite sparsely packed. The field, we're going to wait on NSL Storm to complete as well. Hulkenberg across the line in 11th. Silas, I think, will finish in 12th, if I'm not mistaken. Sapmi King around the final corner to finish in 13th. Yep, Jeffrey across the line, not really his race. Good result though, 14th position. He gets some good results, and he gets the fastest lap as well, possibly. Invictus's AI car is somehow 2/10 up on his personal best, and he is going to be finishing in 15th, but he won't pick up the points, of course, for that position after his what we can call a little bit of a rage quit. Invictus goes 14th, Jeffrey 15th, and then NSL Storm is going to finish in 16th position. What an unbelievable race. Dan, I hope you are getting the interviewees at the ready.
I will get right to that, James. Yeah, that was a thoroughly enjoyable race. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't too optimistic after what I saw in the first half, but the second half of the race was electric, and I had a great time covering it alongside you as per. Yeah, that was a great spectacle to watch. Let's start getting these drivers in. I suspect that Jimmy Storm will be up there. What do you have to report? 20
viewers out on track. Absolutely unbelievable. That's the highest of the season by far. If we can get that next week, that'll be unbelievable. Silas picks up Driver of the Day, is voted for by the fans, but it's its teammate Jimmy Storm who takes the win out on track. It is 2 in a row, France and Britain, and from my understanding and from us in the commentary box, we certainly think that Jimmy Storm is now possibly either taking the championship lead, or he's very close to taking the championship lead out on track. And I'm sure he's going to be even more speechless than last week from France. Silverstone coming back into play. What an unbelievable track. 5 supporters of Jimmy Storm. Wow. And Jimmy Storm, speaking of him, he's going to join the party very soon indeed, I know it. He takes the win out on track from Ranheim in 2nd, Mays in 3rd, Schmidtsky in 4th, with Rock City in 5th. How the top 4 remain penalty free is beyond me. Rock City 5th, Maka in 6th, Jack Roos 7th, Parcells in 8th, Nilsson 9th, Freak Wrong 10th, Hulkenberg in 11th. Silas voted Driver of the Day from 18th up to 12th, 26 seconds worth of penalties in the end. Sapmi King in 13th, Invictus 14th, Jeffrey picking up the fastest lap point. He will pick up 15th place. NSL Storm crossed the line in his own accord as well in 16th. Day Miles and Torenheim, the only 2 DNFers out on track. And we have the man of the moment here in the interview room. Jimmy Storm, 2 wins in a row, and I believe you're the new championship leader. How does that feel?
It feels amazing, man. Amazing. Wow.
You can tell it in the excitement in his voice. He is absolutely thrilled with that. Talk us through that race, though, because that was probably one of the toughest races I think we've seen all season.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know, the new guy, he changed his name. I don't know what's his name now, but
Steven Rambo.
He was very fast, so I was really worried about him. But wow, amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Again, speechless.
We're still trying to get our voices back, I think, after commentating that as well. But honestly absolutely unreal. Did you feel that you had Ranheim's number, or did you feel at some point in that race he was going to come back and get you?
Yeah, when I was behind Rock City, when I was third, lap 20 or something, he was pushing, and I saw the gap, 2.5 seconds, 2 seconds, and I thought, yeah, no, he's not gonna overtake me now, and he didn't.
He didn't.
It worked out.
And you're here.
And I'm here again.
Oh, Dan, any questions?
Sure. Let me just try and conjure up one right now. Yeah. How would you sum up just the battle after that? Because obviously, Maka was holding everyone back quite a huge amount throughout that. Of course, when you got your break on Rock City, just what was the emotional roller coaster you went through during that long-term battle over the race leads?
I was happy, but I thought, I said to myself, I need to focus. Don't go overexcited. Focus. And again, as last week, I saw in the second last lap or something, I saw on the left side of of the corner, I saw 9 seconds, and I thought, yeah, I have it. I have to win. Yeah, and I have it.
Oh, well, we need to honestly end this soon. But final question from myself: Belgium next week. Can you make it 3 in a row?
Never be too confident, I say, but we will see. I don't think so, but yeah, anything can happen. It's still Formula 1, so.
It is still Formula 1, and Formula 1 is the sport that we have come to love. Jibby Storm, we will let you go and enjoy one.
Thank you. And go get your voices back.
Oh, we will.
Thank you very much.
We will. You'll hear the voice cracks during tonight if you watch it back, honestly. Thank you so much, though. We will see you again next week.
Yeah. See you later, guys.
See ya. Oh, I love interviews with Jippy Storm, honestly. He is such a really kind guy, honestly. And the amazing thing is, he's done what nobody has done so far this season in Division 5, and that's pick up 2 race wins. Just how important is that for his confidence going into Spa next week?
Momentum is a massive thing in sport, and I think that's certainly going to be taken forward. Just confirm, actually, he's not the championship leader just yet. Maze still leads the way, but only by 3 points now in front of Jimmy Storm. So that is certainly an exciting prospect to look forward to into the second half of this season when we get onto it. Quick word as well, Silas gave it a go, but unfortunately he hasn't broken the record for most penalties in a race without being disqualified. I believe that record is held by our very own Michael Edwards.
Oh no!
Who once got 38 seconds of penalties in a race, if I recall correctly.
How can you get 38 seconds worth of penalties in a race? Honestly, I've seen drivers get disqualified with about double, well, not double, less the amount of that, 24 seconds I think it was, and I saw them get disqualified out on track because of the constant penalties and 3-second time penalties that they were cutting up. But Dan, final question from me before my voice goes: who was your driver of the day?
I think it would have been Invictus if it weren't for that error he made going through it. I think I'm just gonna say Jimmy Storm. That was a that was a stellar drive. Very honourable mention to Maka for the way he defended and held everyone back. That was great to see. I think those two really shone, and Maka probably would have gotten it wet for me if he didn't pick up so many penalties.
Yeah, Jimmy Storm, I think, gets my drive of the day vote as well. And that is it for here tonight here in TTML. Division 4 certainly lived up to expectations as well. Graham Chaplin Cowboy took you through that one, of course, and we took you through Division 5. I'm going to make a cheeky plug out there. You can join me tomorrow night on League of Europe at 6:40 p.m. Daka's going to be racing as well around the historic track of Mexico. And, yeah, God help you indeed. And it is somebody's very special 23rd birthday. It's not Dan, it's mine, I know. That is how old I am tomorrow.
You're so old, man. Imagine being older than 17.
I'm getting on the wavelength as Maze, I think. We're going to be like the 2 oldest members in TTG. I'm certain of it, honestly. But you can come in and tune in if you want. Wish me a happy birthday in advance here in the comment section. Yeah, I'm not going to make a big deal of it, but we'll see how tomorrow night goes. I am making a big deal of it, I know. Head commentator has good privileges, honestly. Monday is the next time we're going to be live as well here on League Racing TV. So CWC with Malk is going to be taking you through. I think it's round 16 if I'm not mistaken. Out on track. It was Mexico last week. I'm not sure about the CWC calendar, but you can tune into that from 7 PM, I do believe, UK time. So you can tune in for that. And then we're back at it all again. Division 1 on Tuesday. It's actually Sprint League that returns on Wednesday. Then Division 2 and 3 on Thursday. And then we're back at it again. Division 4 and 5 on Friday night. And that is it from us. Please stay safe in this crazy world that we all live in here currently. We're certainly going to be going into Tier 3 up here in the northeast. I know Scotland's having it quite easy at this stage, which is quite good for those people up there. But yeah, we're going to be in a bit of a difficult situation, but we want to bring you as much normality as possible into your lives. TTML is here. No lockdown is going to stop us, and nobody will stop us at all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been James Head. He's been Daniel Hoggard. Thank you so much for tuning in to Division 5 tonight, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.